Hello guys, welcome to my newest video. My name is Professor Forest, and in this one, as I promised, I will explain in depth which grace build to go with each game. Last week I made a video about the best grace builds as well, and if you haven't seen that video yet, you can find it in the top right corner, but you will find it in the comment section and in the description as well. Why should you listen to my build guide, you may ask? Well, the answer is that I'm a master tier grace player on EU West. I know some of the best grace players, not just on EU West, but on any server, who reach GM or even Challenger. And I'm talking with them not just about builds but about graves in general, so I think I have a good understanding of what items graves should go with. So let's start with the first build, which is S tier in my tier list. This is the Ghostblade Corrector build, and you can go with this pretty much every game, and you will see a comp example on your screen. Basically, whenever the enemy team has mainly squishy and ranged champions, this build is amazing. I know this is more specific, but especially against Kindred, you always want to go with a lethality setup because otherwise she will match you and even kill you. Your team also has enough frontline with Jax, but you could have any other bruiser on top or tank, and you have a rare support. And as I said, this is just an option. That could be any other tank support, so your team won't be struggling with the front line, so Bruiser Graves is not needed that game. The second S tier build, which is also my favorite build, is with Trinity Force. As you can see on the enemy team comp example, they have a Kha'Zix now, so whenever you are facing an assassin, this could be in the jungle or on the mid lane like Hazel instead of Vex, for example. The way you counter these champions is by building Bruiser. If you go with a full lethality or a crit build, about which I will talk later, you will have a hard time and just die to them over and over again. So this would be a perfect example of a game where I would go with the Trinity Force setup. Another question is, should you buy Dirk or not? The answer is that whenever your laners have a good early game, or at least decent, and they can fight early, you can gank for them. Yes, Spider. Malzahar with ult, for example, can set up a gank pretty easily, and he will hit that spike before 6 minutes. But let's say your mid laner decides to lock in Kassadin or Victor, then you should not buy there because that will be a long scale game, and you can go with the Trinity Force into other items. The third build variation is with Gold Drinker. Should you buy Emerald Glaive, you may ask, and the answer is the same as with the Trinity setup. Whenever you need early damage because your laners can fight with you, you can buy it, but it's not a must, and you can even skip the item. As you can see in the example, the enemy team has a dive comp, mostly melee champions, and they will look to engage a lot. So in this case, Gold Drinker is the best setup because you will have a lot of targets to heal off and survive their engage with your other bruiser items like Sterax. The way I decide when I should go with Gold Drinker is that I look at the enemy team to see if they have a 3 melee champions, and if they do, then I will go with the Gold Drinker. This is the same way I decide Stridebreaker. I know some people like that item. I prefer Trinity, but if enemy team has 3 range champions and you want to go with a bruiser setup, then you can go with Stridebreaker as well. Now my last build is with crit, when to go crit and how I decided. I will be honest, I don't like crit, don't get me wrong, the build is strong, I just don't like being squishy and relying on my auto attacks for the most part. Honestly, it's even hard to think about the right team comp because in most cases the builds I mentioned earlier are just better. So you go with this build when you can hit the enemy team, and what I mean by that is that they are mostly melee or short range. If your team doesn't have enough damage, your top picks a tank, your mid is not a carry, and plays something like a Lissandra or Malzahar, and your team needs more damage, then it's a good game for crit graves. Like I said, I prefer Yumu's or Trinity builds, but crit is a good alternative if you don't like those builds for some reason. You're fine with crit as well. But that's it for me guys, this was my guide on how you can decide which build go within each game. Thank you so much for watching.